What up, y'all? We're here for our weekly anchor message where we are checking in with our spiritual assignments for the week. We get a word from headquarters and let us know what we're going to be working on in soul school, so to speak. And so from the wild unknown archetypes, we pulled Anna Mundi. Followed by the ocean, followed by Gnosis, underneath Annamundi, we've got Knight of Cups, underneath the ocean, we've got Four of Pentacles. And underneath Gnosis, we've got the Justice card. So this really piggybacks right on the tails of our weekly energy oracle forecast. I just finished recording that, so I will edit both of these and upload them, but I don't know which one will upload first. But I would say that the weekly energy oracle forecast is going to be a really good supplemental video to watch with this one. It kind of gives us the energetic conditions of the week that we'll be living in, and these will be the lessons that we're kind of focused in on, or the essence of the lessons. And so basically Annamundi is speaking to this initiation we've been going through, where our soul has been tried and tested, and we've been pulling up everything from our guts, trying to transform everything in our subconscious. And we've been doing a lot of concentrated work on this for the last couple of years. It's been culminating into even more concentration over the last couple of months. And I think that for a long time, we just felt like, oh my gosh, is it ever going to feel any different? Or is my life ever going to change? And it's like all of a sudden time and space and everything has just suddenly caught up. And it's like, boom, eureka, revelation. This is the moment where the up level starts to happen. Like the initiation, we're starting to come out of this long period of testing and initiation. And finally, we're starting to feel the embodiment of everything that we've been learning. And so it's like all of a sudden things will just start getting better. They'll start evening out. The outside world will start reflecting all of the transformation and the beauty that's been happening on the inside. And as a result of this, it's like we have a resurgence of our active desire to pursue our soul's calling. When we have a passive desire, it's like a feeling of, oh, that'd be nice, but I'm not really making a full effort. Or it might be like an idea that you have that sounds like, oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? But you never really do anything to follow up. That's a passive desire. And so our level of passivity in our desire is usually one of the leading factors in why we're not where we want to be, Our desire is the magnetism of what draws us toward and what draws to us our desires and our destiny, along with our effort. But the desire has to be there, or else there's just not a lot of oomph. There's not a lot of energy or power or magnetism or drive. So, there have been times where, maybe our desire has been puttering in and out because we've been in the process for a ways. And so in the creative, the stages of creation, there's 4 phases in Kabbalah. And there's phase 1 where it's like the initial honeymoon phase where you get an idea, but it's a passive desire and you haven't really started putting in the effort yet. And then creation phase 2 is when that active desire kicks in and you're like, oh, this is actually, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, this is going to be a great idea. And you've got all this passion and you're really connected with your reasons and why you want to give this to the world and share it and all that. And you're like, I'm going to put in all the work, and I'm going to burn the wick at both ends. I'm going to burn the midnight oil and all those things. And you're giving it your all, and you're hitting it from every angle, and you're enthusiastic and passionate about it. And you're getting momentum. And then suddenly it's like you just start to plateau because you've been in phase 2 for so long. It's like act 2 of the movie when you're in the confrontation and the characters are not like really there yet at the big moment where they have the face off. And so it's like you're just in this lull of the second act where you're like, okay, the road trip is far from where we started. There's no end in sight. And then you're just like highway hypnosis, like singing, like you hate the playlist. You're just like, that can lead us to plateau. And so it kind of brings us to, and that's part of the initiation. The test is to lose steam. And then from there, what are you going to do? Are you going to go deeper? Are you going to tap into your inner resources, your inner depths, and draw from that wellspring and pull out that ability to keep going? Because creation phase 3 is when you are still at it and you are so tired and you want to give up and you think, I don't know if this is ever going to yield anything. I don't know if it's ever going to be fulfilling or pay off or have the results that I want or be successful. The person out, I'm trying to change my fear and I'm working so hard and I'm still afraid, or I'm trying to be true to myself, but I'm getting all this flack from everyone and it doesn't seem worth it, right? Creation phase 3 is when you put yourself out on a limb and you put it all on the line and you take the risk, or you face the fear, or you get over the thing that you didn't want to get over. You do the big ask, you make the big sacrifice. In the hero's journey, it's when the hero faces off with the big battle. And you think at that moment, okay, the happy ending's coming. And then it's crickets and it's just silence. And you're like, what? Like, maybe it's not going to happen. And you think, okay, if it doesn't happen, if I don't get the result that I want, is this something I'd still give myself to? And so that's the moment where you either throw in the towel, or you're like, no, I'm re-tapping into my passion. I'm recommitting to this and I'm putting in the effort and I've got an active desire again. And that's the initiation, where the character is either gifted the manifestation. You get into creation phase 4 where you have the fulfillment of the manifestation, or you go back into the other, you backslide into the other phases, depending on how passive your desire is and how much effort you either stop giving or continue to give. So, and even in phase 4, you can actually manifest your desire, but you might not have fulfillment. It's like when, the classic trope of the person who wanted to be a Hollywood star and they get famous, then they realize like, oh, all that money and attention, it didn't validate me. I still feel like the same person. I'm still unhappy. Now I have to now I'm falling into drugs and the true Hollywood story behind all of them every time. So that's an example of having something manifested, but you don't have the fulfillment of it. And so in order to really have the fulfillment of the manifestation and have it be fulfilling and, actually come to fruition, is when we really build the vessel, which means we put the effort in and we stick with it until we can appreciate it. We build the discipline and the skills and the wisdom and the experience and the know-how to set ourselves up for, let's say you want your company to be successful. It's like, okay, well, you can't start a company overnight and it be successful, because you'll run into all kinds of mistakes because it's a learning curve, right? There's so many things to know that you don't know. And so, you want that experience that comes with the time. So yeah, so now we're in this moment where I think we've hit that creation phase 3 moment where it looked bleak for a minute. And the test is, even if you didn't have a payoff, like, would you still do this because it's truly within you to do, or you're truly called to do it, or it's, you know, something that you're really destined to do, and you really care about it. You know, that's when you are getting closer to the manifestation, and it can come through. It can break through at any moment. So I think that we're in that moment where we're in that phase 3, and it's the initiation right now is, okay, we've come this far. We are running out of steam, and we're like, all right, either we're going to keep going or quit. But I feel like we're really close to a breakthrough here. And so, you know, finding that inspiration again, to have that active desire to make an effort for ourselves spiritually, mentally, in our consciousness, in our actions, hit it from every angle, you know, try to do, you know, everything you can for, you know, these dreams, these goals, these desires you have, and leave it all on the line. You know, don't hold anything back, but really give. And I think that the more that we give from a sense of sharing, and not from an attitude of, what is this going to bring me? What is this going to bring me? We give up on that mentality, that perception of, what is this yielding back? What is my ROI? What is this going to, you know, I mean, return on investment is something that you have to look at, but just bear with me for the metaphysical essence of this. Pretend you're doing self-work, right? What is the return on my investment? It's inner peace. It's fulfillment, right? So getting inspired again and getting motivated, and also the fact that the Knight of Cups is inspired and motivated, theatrical, creative. But their downside is that when the honeymoon's over and it's not romantic anymore, they kind of lose interest, right? They're always chasing that romantic, you know, sparkly object. Well, we were talking about in our last video doing the inner child healing, because the inner child has that wound where they can't get past the honeymoon phase. They need something to be fun and engaging and exciting, and they don't have the maturity to stick with it past the shiny part, right? So they're non-committal, and they get shiny object syndrome. Same with the Knight of Wands, right? This is immature, non-committed energy. And whereas the Knight of Wands is kind of a player and is very seductive and doesn't want to commit, the Knight of Cups is more like an emotional, like a serial, casual intimacy kind of thing. Like, they get all caught up in the excitement and the romance, but they don't necessarily always have the follow through. And so this can be that pattern that we're seeing in the ways that we get all, you know, gung-ho about like showing up for good habits for ourselves, right? We're in February, so everybody's probably falling off of their, you know, dry January and their good habits. And so that's an easy example of, okay, let's get inspired again. Let's get motivated. It's not just about New Year's resolutions. It's about showing up for yourself in long-term, like, lifestyle changes. Real change from the inside, but not to get hung up on, you know, New Year's resolutions. This is more about our deeper calling right now, the big things that we've been trying to manifest for a long time. So Anna Mundi is this, the soul is up leveling, and we're getting into our next level, and our life is starting to bear fruit and show this as well. And so what's getting us over the hump, what's actually pushing the needle forward, is we've been plumbing our own depths and getting into the subconscious, getting into the unconscious. There's a world of things going on beneath the surface, right? The ocean is everything. There's every depth and feeling, and the ocean can have all kinds of, it can present in a different way every day. It can be choppy. It can be calm. It can be crystal clear. It can be an absolute tempest. You know, it can be absolute danger or absolute serenity, right? And that we have all that going on in the depths of us. And so the more that we explore these depths, then we discover, okay, these are the things that have been blocking us. These are the things that have been holding us back. We don't want to avoid, see, look, she can be very closed off too. We don't want to avoid what's coming up in the subconscious that's trying to present. The subconscious is trying to present things to us this week, right? Look at me. Look at me. I am influencing your actions and behaviors. I'm influencing your cravings and your desires and your attention span and your ability to show up for yourself. I'm influencing your self-worth and what you think you deserve and how you treat yourself based on what you think you deserve. So this is a world to explore. And so the more that we explore this, the more we unblock, right? And we open up our heart chakra. The thing about the Four of Pentacles is that, yes, in its positive, high octave sense, it's about establishing stability and security, right? But we want to establish a sense of deep security and real stability emotionally and out in our lives. And so in order to do that, we can't glaze over this. We can't spiritually bypass this. Because what's going to happen is we're going to build false senses of security because the ego is going to want us to look for ways that we can control everything. And we can hold people out and hold people at a distance and not let anyone in, and what it does is it holds us outside, right? Because what I think too is I see her holding this small version of this house, but it's almost like she's on the outside of the fence and she hasn't been able, because she's holding on to this small vision, she hasn't been able to enter into the grand vision, the real living in the full fruition of the potential. So what is holding us back from living into the fruition of our fuller potential? What's holding us back from fully stepping into this new up level? What's holding us back from fully stepping in with both feet into this new timeline? So something holding us in the past timeline. And then also plumbing our own depths for the inspiration and the strength and the endurance to be tired and yet find that second wind to re-tap into all that desire and inspiration to move forward, to go further, right? And just accepting whatever the feelings and the unconscious are showing you right now. Don't deny them. Open the heart chakra. What's happening right now is part of the block here is that, and part of what's being unblocked is the heart. We need to let our feelings flow. We need to, not deny the feelings and get too much in the head. It's been building up. And so when our heart chakra is blocked off, it blocks us off from not only loving experiences with friends and family and romance and all of that, but it also blocks us off from our creativity. It blocks us off from our abundance and opportunity as well. So a whole ocean of depth of things is going on. And so as we plumb those depths, it's all kind of coming together. And as we're up leveling and as we're having this awakening and looking into all of this, it's like the gnosis here is lived in experience and wisdom that once you know it, you cannot unknow it. So it's like as we start to tap into new depths of ourselves that we didn't know before, it's like when we discover these things about ourselves, it's like these are the things that we can't unknow. And it's like, oh, wow, it's like forever we're free or liberated of things that used to have such attachment over us or a hold over our thinking and our behavior in ways that we didn't even realize. So yeah, this is when Jesus talks about, and you will see the truth and you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, or that you will live the truth and you will know the truth. And this is like when you've been there and it's happened to you and you're like, no, I have personal firsthand experience with this. I know this. You can't tell me that you can't tell me any different. Like, I've lived through this. So this is like undeniable truth. And so as we give up our limited truth and our defiled, tainted, egoic, wounded truth, or the exaggerated truth of the wounded inner child, right? It might be askewed. It might be off, or I think of the word I'm looking for. Altered. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Distorted. The distorted truth of, we're trading in that distorted truth that's coming through our perception from the wounded inner child, and we're trading that for a higher truth. We're coming through this initiation, through all of this experience, and whereas, it's like we've had a gradual growing sense of, okay, I'm starting to understand what's going on. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the plot develop. Okay, all right, I'm putting this case together. Okay, all right, it's coming together. I'm so close. I'm so close to a breakthrough. I've got all my evidence up. I've got all my clues. I've got my strings tied to my tacks. And then suddenly it's like, bam, it all comes together. And we're like, oh, wow. And it's this liberating moment. And so when we're free of all of this, we see the truth about the situation. We've got the justice card. It's like, oh, eureka, the truth is coming out. I'm in alignment now. My heart, my mind, my soul, my strength is all aligned, and I see everything so much more clearly. And I've adopted this higher truth in replacement of the lower distorted truth now. And so because of that, it's like we're correcting our, past lives. We're correcting our tikkun. We're doing the soul correction healing. And now, like, things can start evening out and being made right in our lives. Whereas, like, if up until now you've been going through, like, just toil and hardship and painful lessons, if you've truly learned and embodied these lessons, like this reading is suggesting that we have potential to, as long as we get in and unblock these things, then life can start evening out and start, giving us lighter, more abundant, freer times ahead, happier times ahead, even out the scales a bit. And so, wrongs will be righted. And if you have thought you've lost things in the past, if you did not give up hope on those things, they've been put into a spiritual bank account. It's like rollover minutes, like rollover blessings. Think about it like that. And so those things are going to start coming forward now. Whereas maybe, the things that were meant for you had been held back because you couldn't truly appreciate them or sustain them. Maybe an aspect of your personality would have fudged it up, or you wouldn't have been disciplined enough to stick with it, right? Think about marriage, for instance. If you'd met the person that you are going to marry, but before you were prepared, before you'd done the healing work, before you were ready to settle down, you could have screwed it up with the person who would have made the best long-term partner for you if you met at the wrong time, right? Or before the healing. And so now it's like, okay, if you've gotten a success in your company before you had put in enough investment in your blood, sweat, and tears, you may not have appreciated it, and you may have let it, slip, right? Or made haphazard or, unwise or foolish decisions. So we're here now. We've arrived at a certain point where we've done this work, and we're starting to get like our fair shot, our fair opportunity, what's due, right, is coming back to us now. It's all coming back around. So hopefully you've been sowing some good seeds, because we're about to reap what we've been sowing. All right, y'all, I'm sleepy times and hungies also. So I'm going to go take a hot shower and eat comfort food. And I don't know if I mentioned this. We had our work party last night, our annual Christmas party, but it's after the holidays because we were busy and through the whole holidays. So we had our party, and I get to bed till like 4, and yeah, and then we all work tonight. So we were all just like, oh, I can't wait to go home and eat and shower and sleep. That's what I'm gonna do now. Well, I hope y'all are good. Be good, but not too good. Ciao.